Yeah, hi Nasser. This is Michael, and I'm looking at your paper right now. So thank you for sending your introduction paper. So it's looking pretty good. And let's take a look at the introduction. And I think according to the rubric, let me see where you can improve here. I'll tell you what categories here. Category number 4, number 5, number 8. And then polish and grammar number 12 and 13. You can probably improve in those areas. This gives you a total score of 86. And I'm putting this into Blackboard right now. So this puts your grade right now 86.5. So right now you're at about a B. Okay, I probably won't have time to do everything, but let's just take a look at the introduction part of your paper. We'll make a few corrections here. So the classroom is a social place where the teacher plays a part in assisting pupils to gain learning by supporting them, and you want to say here supervising. I don't think you need to break that up. That's just one word. Supervising them to cooperate with each other for them to construct knowledge. You want to say, I would use parallel structure here. So cooperatively and significantly. However, classroom teaching and learning environments in the Saudi Arabia education system prior to independence has obstacles, and you don't need any comma here, and may have failed to provide stimulating learning environments as well as engaging students. I would probably change this. So have failed to provide stimulating learning environments that did not engage students in activities that provided them with opportunities to develop their critical thinking and problem-solving skills or their high-order thinking skills. Which I think critical thinking, problem solving are probably somewhat similar. So I don't think you need all of this here. The teaching and learning process was more teacher-centered. And then maybe you might say something like in as much as, so then you connect these two sentences together. The following discussion will focus on some methods and approaches about how Saudi decision makers improve centered learning classrooms and, you might say, student centered. Maybe classrooms. And I think you could maybe do a little bit better outlining the entire capstone project here. Yeah, Saudi Arabia, you want to use passive voice, is considered as one of the leaders countries. I'm going to change it to an adjective, is one of the leading countries in the world, not only because of how much you want to say, not only because of the daily production of oil, but also you need to say parallelism because of the powerful economy based on other resources. So now we have not only plus because, but also plus because, and that's going to balance that sentence a little bit better. Also, Saudi Arabia is considered as a leader of the leader of the Islamic and Arab countries, because you're using this as an adjective, no S. For what it has internationally. I'm going to get rid of what. If you're using what, I don't think it works. Just say for its so we're going internationally. I think that's it. For its internationally authoritative influence. I think that makes it better. So now we have an adverb, then an adjective, and then we have a noun. Nowadays, Saudi Arabia begins new reevaluation and future vision. Get rid of the word to here. In order to build a strong base of technology and economy. How about in order to build a strong technological and economic base? How about let's get rid of this. So technological adjective, economic adjective, and then educational adjective. Then say that. So in order to build a strong technological, economic, and educational base. So be careful of your word forms. The Saudi government calls this revolution Vision 2030. However, the Vision 2030 has many criteria and methods to build Saudi Arabia. You want to put Saudi Arabia maybe you want to say one of the most, and I'm not sure what you want to say here. Do you want to say one of the most developing countries of the world or one of the most developed countries of the world? So let's say we say that, then you can figure out how you want to say it. If you say developed, you're saying that it's already really developed. It doesn't need to be developed anymore. If you say developing, it's in the process of being developed. So I'm going to let you choose what you think works better. The Saudi vision and you need to put a comma because we have what's called a non-restrictive element, which was, I'm going to say was because you said 25th of April, 2016, comma, plans to reduce how about the countries I'm going to say the country's dependence on oil and wants to develop public services such as health, education, recreation, and tourism. So then, based on what you're saying there, I'm going to change this back to developing. So one of the most developing countries around the world. In light of education, Saudi Vision 2030, and I'm just going to use a simple present here, plans to improve education by building new schools and universities, plans to I'm going to get rid of improve and just use the word plans to modernize education by building new schools and universities. I don't think you need to say this. Just say to allow maybe I'm going to use diverse as an adjective to allow diverse students and new learning methods. However, new schools nowadays have facilities well prepared in order to be more efficient However, I don't think it's the right word. It looks like this is a result of what you've already said. So I'm going to say something like therefore. New schools nowadays have facilities I'm going to put well prepared as an adjective and put it before facilities. I think that makes better sense here. Have well prepared facilities in order to be more efficient for the students. Teachers also have a chance to use the technology in order to shift from the teacher-centered learning to student-centered learning. So that's good. Then we have a major challenge for teachers and policymakers in Saudi Arabia. I want to say is related to teaching philosophies. Many Saudi teachers keep working I'm going to put continue Many Saudi teachers continue to follow a heavy, how about a teacher-centered approach? Other countries, e.g. USA and UK, have maybe moved probably in contrast is going to work well here. So other countries, for example, USA and UK, have moved more away from teacher-centered to student-centered teaching. Therefore, this study highlights the issue of teachers following the teacher-centered approach as the research problem. Okay. That's good. So what is student-centered learning? So student-centered learning is a term. Because you already have is as a verb, you need to use a participle here. So student-centered learning is a term referring to as an approach to learning in which learners choose not only what to study, but also how and why that topic might be of interest. And very good use of your quote there. In other words, a learning environment has learner responsibility and activity at its heart, in contrast to the emphasis on instructor control and the coverage of academic content found in how about much of the conventional didactic teaching. Additionally, learners find the learning process more meaningful when topics are relevant to their lives, needs, and interests, and when they are actively engaged in creating understanding and connecting to knowledge. There has been increasing emphasis in recent years on moving away from traditional teaching towards student-centered learning. This paradigm shift has encouraged moving power from the instructor to the learner, treating the learner as a co-creator in the teaching and learning process. Instructors who deliver student-centered instruction include the learning in decisions about how and what they learn and how that learning is assessed, and they respect and accommodate individual differences in learners' backgrounds, interests, abilities, and experiences. Good. Okay, let's move to the next one. So why student-centered learning is important. This is the last thing I'm going to look at for today. This is all the time I'm going to have. Now on Wednesday we have some academic advising. If you want me to work on the literature review, I can spend maybe 10 minutes on Friday during academic advising. So bring your computer with a flash drive if you want. We can work on that. Okay, many theories have influenced I would just put no preposition. have influenced student-centered learning. In fact, 3 important theories in which many educators agree that student-centered learning will become more effective. The first theory is administrative support, and how you want to use a noun clause, how the power, and I'm going to put applies to the student-centered learning methods through the learning process. The second theory is that teachers and students, I think you mean plural possessive nouns here, preparation to operate learning processes using a variety of methods of student-centered learning to be more efficient. The third theory looks at the environment. How about the classroom environment? So if possible, don't use a prepositional phrase if you can use a single word. So the third theory looks at the classroom environment and how looks at the classroom environments and get rid of how has and just say the third theory looks at the classroom environment's impact on the student-centered learning process. However, the researcher tends to explain briefly 2 areas and focus on the third. Here, you have to use a comma here, I think, i.e., the environment so the classroom environment put the classroom environment's effect on student-centered learning approach. Oh, I'm already into the literature review, right? Okay, I think overall, I think you have a pretty good paper. You're going in the right direction. So it looks like you have quite a few editing issues that you have to work on. So what does that tell you? That's telling you that you want to make sure you get into the Writing Center. The Writing Center is going to be very, very helpful for you, especially this next year, right? So as you're working on your paper, make appointments, get into the Writing Center so you can clean up your writing a little bit more, so it's a little bit more carefully edited. All right, and thank you for doing this assignment. And congratulations, you've come to the end of this quarter. How does that feel, buddy? So Happy New Year. Thank you very much for all your hard work, and I will see you on Wednesday also.